rather than saying, well, based on the information you've given me, let's see, the last 3 kitchens that we've done that are similar have run in the neighborhood of, say, $95,000 to $140,000.
Yes.
And then stepping back for a moment and allowing the client to respond and say either, yeah, that's kind of in keeping with what we expected, or, oh, are you crazy? We want to have this done for $25,000. Well, you know that. And sometimes you can do that over the telephone so that you save yourself a trip and a half a day.
You have to do that because, again, watching reality shows, they share budgets that in many cases are not realistic for a variety of reasons. So that is my job, to begin helping them understand what the true cost of a project is. And you just did a bracketing. I do the same thing.
Yeah.
Which is it can be as little as 50, could easily be 100, depends on your selections. Gosh, are you closer to 50 or 100? And people will always answer that question.
If you can't get the budget, you don't have a viable lead.
Well, what we do, one of the things that some of us do is we say, well, what's your budget?
Oh, I don't know what my budget is.
I have no idea.
That's up to you. You're the contractor.
Okay, so we know that this is going to be a $50,000 job. So the next question out of my mouth is, well, can you invest $100,000? Oh, no. And then they give you their budget.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah. One of the other sure ways of sabotaging a project is coming out the gate, the client will say, well, what do you think it's going to take in terms of time to finish this project? And if you say 6 weeks, and you know darn well that a project like that takes 8 weeks, you better put at least 10 weeks into the project and then come in early, which will make you look like a hero. I don't understand, David, people who do what we do, who promise 6 weeks, take 8 weeks, and end up with an enemy, rather than saying this is going to take 8 weeks, come in a week or two early and look like heroes.
Well, can I make another comment on that?
I wish you would.
And I mean this sincerely, because this is going to sound a little unusual, but it took me 15 years to learn how to say no. Because in this service industry, I was trained to say yes. Can you do this? Yes, I can. Can you work with this? Yes, I can. It only came with experience that I discovered that saying yes does not benefit my client, and certainly may not benefit me. But it took some time for me to understand that saying no is the appropriate action, and telling people what they don't want to hear, because that's my job as a professional.
Exactly.
But it took me some time to say to somebody, no, I don't want you ordering the light fixtures. I don't want you ordering the plumbing fixtures. I will do that, and I'll do that because of my dedicated suppliers, because of getting delivery. We want to handle the install. I can then warrant everything that I can do. Let me do my job.
David, can I say something? And I'll say it in 3 words. I love you. It is wonderful. It's a great reality check and reminder for us. And this information that you're providing to our peers is totally invaluable.
It really is. And here on Carey Bros, we like to ask our guests to share 3 points for success with our pro listeners. Could you please share yours?
Yeah. Number 1, we're selling an experience as well as a project. Number 2, it's my job to manage that experience and guide my clients every step of the way. And number 3, it's my job to set clear expectations right from the first meeting. This allows my client to choose me, and allows me also to select the clients that will let me do my job.
David Lupberger, president of Master Builder Group Incorporated. They're a custom renovation and home building company in the Boulder, Colorado area. He also writes a column titled Managing It for Qualified Remodeler, and has spoken on this topic at the International Builder Show, the Remodeler Show, and other industry meetings. He's written a report titled Secrets of a Million Dollar Remodeler, and you may certainly get his book entitled Managing the Emotional Homeowner, and get more information about his services at remodelforce.com.
And remember, you'll find our guest information as well as additional podcasts, videos, and articles on our website at CareyBrosPros.com.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, everybody, loosen up those tool belts and relax. It's time for a quick bro tip from the Carey brothers.
Remodeling construction workers are used to being laid off. Naturally, such is the case for anyone who works outside and who's subject to rain, sleet, or snow. Construction workers may not care for it, but they fully understand not being able to work in inclement weather. What they don't understand is not working when the weather is good, and that, Mr. Employer, is fully upon you. So how does a remodeling contractor ensure full-time work for his crew year-round in good weather and bad? One fellow told us sell projects at break-even values in order to keep the men working. And although this suggestion sounds very noble, such a plan is a formula for disaster and maybe even bankruptcy. Planning ahead is a must, and advertising is the most important aspect of planning ahead. Here are the steps to learn. Remember them and follow them closely. First, you need to know the average time it takes for a project to get started. And when I mean get started, what I'm saying is that the time frame between the initial phone call and the time that the project commences. So I got called on a month ago Monday, and I get the job started following month Friday. 2 months it takes to get the job, the plans done, get the permits, get all the finishes selected, get the estimates done, get a contract. Okay? So you have to know the average time that it takes to get that project started once you get that phone call. We call that first contact to commencement, or FCC. You should know FCC for each type of project you build because every type of project takes a different lead time between the time you get the phone call and the time that your project commences. Remember, you're trying to hit rainy season with some projects. Remember, when you advertise regularly, consumers still take a bit of time to respond to your ad. So if you want work in 2 months and you advertise 2 months in advance, that may not work because people who are reading the newspaper take several weeks to respond to an ad. So what you have to do is take that commencement time, that FCC, and you have to add a little bit of lead time for your ad to make sense. So if it takes about 3 weeks for the ad and 2 months for a job to get going, you want to start advertising about 3 months before you need the outside work. So if it rains in December in your area, you might want to be advertising for indoor work in October. October is a really good time. It's still dry, but then you should be working on kitchen and bath remodels, whole house remodels, and the like. Here's another tip. If you're a design build remodeler, begin your advertising for additions in early winter. Folks who would otherwise wait until spring to contact you or your competition would respond to an advertisement that states, begin planning your room addition now, and the ad should explain that some additions take months to plan, so begin planning now for spring. You'll beat your competition to the bunch and get a bunch of profitable additions before everyone else. Keep your advertising going all year long, but change up your ads to promote the kind of work that will keep your company going year-round. And by the way, word-of-mouth advertising is great, but it doesn't necessarily get you the kind of work that you want when you most need it.
Well, that's our podcast for today. Thanks for listening to this edition of CareyBrosPros, the podcast for construction professionals by construction professionals. Want more? Check out CareyBrosPros.com. You'll find articles and videos to help make your business a success.